Things first, man. One, you're a family man, 100%. I can tell that, from the posts and from the some of the things that I've seen in your Instagram feed. But also, man, you're an extremely positive guy. Like it seems like you're happy. You have a lot of good messages that you've been sending out. And where does that come from?
I just think that's just who I am. I mean, since I was young, I've always had to stay positive, because I grew up, I'm from New York and I grew up in a very difficult neighborhood. And that's just the way I thought everything was, no matter where I went, I thought everyone kind of experienced the same life that I did. So my parents started sending me to the Boys and Girls Club to kind of get me off the streets, to kind of have a place for positive kids. And that's where I met so many of my friends that I'm really close with now, the coaches and the mentors that has guided me in the right direction. And also where I started loving the game of basketball was going to the Boys and Girls Club. And it taught me so much. So from that experience and being able to fight through adversity and to be able to always for my mom, because that was one thing that my dad always made sure that I did is take care of your mom. Take care of your mom, take care of your mom. And it's something that I've always done throughout my whole entire life, was just making sure that everything I've done was to make my mom happy, make her proud, not think about me being in the streets or anything, but going out there and trying to do great. So when I was able to get my education and get my my bachelor's degree and my master's and a scholarship at a basketball known college, Siena College, and do so many great things in life, it was just to make her happy. And I just want to instill that with so many other people. And then being with the Harlem Globetrotters, we're all about positivity. We're all about making people smile. So me being with the Harlem Globetrotters and doing that, it wasn't because of my skills. That was automatic. It was how I am as a person. So it was the right fit for me. And even though I'm not playing with them no more, once a Globetrotter, always a Globetrotter, and I'm still out there making a positive impact on everyone in around the world.
Yeah, man, I see you have a lot of things that you do within your own community and abroad too. But before we touch on that, tell me a little bit about what you have going on with your family right now. I know you just recently had a son, correct?
Yes. I just had a baby boy in June. So his birthday is actually going to be coming up in another month.
Right.
And it was such a big adjustment for me, just like it is for anybody else that's a first time parent. But I've been with my wife now for 10 years, 11 years. I met her at Siena, where we went to school together. But we just got married 2 years ago. And then after getting married, we got our first home, which was my first time ever having a home. I've always lived in an apartment. I grew up living in a trailer. So, I mean, it was a big deal for us. She's from Brooklyn. So it was a big deal for us. And then we got married. And then next thing you know, he came. So it's been such a big adjustment in so many ways. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me. It really is. Huge adjustment from being on the court and traveling. But I wouldn't change it for the world, because I wanted something different. And being with him gave me something different. But it's a love that, man, I can't even explain. And even when there's bad times, there's so much good in it. And I'm going to be honest with you. We're going through difficult times right now. Everyone is in the world. But I'm with him more. I'm with my wife more. So there is some good in it. But I'm hoping that everything gets better real soon so we can all go back to our daily lives. But I wouldn't trade this time for anything in the world.
100%. It definitely is going to be, especially as he grows, he's almost a year, you said. You definitely want to be able to get out and experience some things with him.
Yeah, that's been one of the hard parts, is not being able to get out. We just been in the house. And with COVID, you just got to be careful, especially now with a young kid. He doesn't even have his shots yet because of everything that's been happening. We've been get into the doctor's office. So we actually have a doctor's appointment at the end of the month to make up for some of the ones that we missed. But the weather's been nice here in New York. We just been staying outside, and he loves it. He's like, whoa, this is grass. Oh, this is a tree. Oh, this is. So it's good that we need to get out, because he needs to burn out some of that energy now that he's walking a little bit. And it's so great to see how aware he is on everything that's happening. And that's what I am supposed to do as a parent, is supposed to teach him. And I'm happy that I'm doing it.
Yeah, man, that first year is definitely special. Like there's so many different moments that happen all within that 1 year that it gets burned into your memory.
Yeah, yeah. Like all of a sudden he just wasn't crawling, and then he just crawled. And then it's like, whoa, and then he's just walking. And now he's talking. It's like everything happened in 2 months. So
Yeah.
now our living room looks crazy right now because we're still trying to hide things from him. But hey, that's the way it's supposed to be, man. It's
It
great.
is. It is. But yeah, man. So, well, two things. One, what is the name of your son and your wife?
My wife's name is Yasmin with a
Okay.
Y, and my son's name is Duran.
Duran. Oh, damn,
Yep.
Duran. Okay. But one thing that I saw, man, is even before you had Duran, before you and Yasmin had Duran, is the fact that being around children and making an impact on children's lives is something that's extremely important for you. I know you just said being with the Harlem Globetrotters, you spent a lot of time around kids, but not everybody has to make that public knowledge. And you are very, you're an advocate for kids. So speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that that's really important. One thing about me is I've always been like that. I have my own basketball camp here in New York that I've been running for 16 years. I started it as soon as I graduated from high school because I started realizing the impact I started having on kids, even that were my age. So I started it, and it's been growing, and I've been able to maintain it while I've been on the road. So the best thing about that is while I'm traveling the world, I was still playing in my hometown. So then now kids were able to see what I do on a daily basis, which is playing for the Harlem Globetrotters. So not only am I teaching them about the Globetrotters and representing the red, white, and blue, but I'm teaching them history because the Harlem Globetrotters is history, man. Like
Yeah.
that's 50 plus years of changing people's lives that I'm a part of. So now I'm teaching them, hey, while you're celebrating Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks, you should be also celebrating the Harlem Globetrotters as well. And I'm teaching them the game is fun. When we go out there, we have fun. So and I think that that's very important. And there's so many things I teach kids that I'm so happy that I've learned that I'm able to teach my son right now. Um, I just want everybody to kind of just try to be great. There's everything we can always be great in something. Try to find out what it is, and that's my goal. And even though I'm a father, I don't forget about all of the things that I'm teaching other kids. And I also got my bachelor my master's degree in childhood education. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm certified to be a teacher in grades K through 6. So there's so much of the teaching that's involved in my life that it's not all about basketball. And that's one thing I never wanted people to associate me as is only a basketball player. I'm a mentor, I'm a role model, I'm a father. There's so many titles that I have that I hope many people see and try to do as well.
So, with your master's in early, I guess, childhood education, not necessarily early childhood, but childhood education, did you use some of that while you were, on the road with the Globetrotters?
Yes, I definitely did. And I got it while I was traveling on the road with the Harlem Globetrotters. It took me 10 years to get. But, it was hard because I was traveling the world. I'm in Australia, that's a 14-hour difference, or I'm in Italy, that's a 7-hour difference, but I was able to maintain it. And one of the main reasons why I had to finish that is because, my mom didn't see me graduate from Siena with my bachelor's degree in psychology because she had both of her legs amputated.
Oh, wow.
So my goal was okay, I'm gonna do it again. And I'm gonna be the first person to finish with my master's, and I'm gonna watch my mom watch me walk across that stage. And it was a beautiful moment to be able to see, man. She was full of tears. She was happy, and that's what it's all about. So now I'm gonna have to teach my son, take care of mom, do this for your mom. We're dads. We'll be there. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, always take care of your mom, and that's just the way I was taught.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, man, it sounds like you've done a lot for your mom, and you guys must have a really strong, close relationship. At the end of the day, what are some of the things that you've been able to do for her to show that appreciation, show that respect, and like you said, take care of moms?
Just show her that I'm always there.
Yeah.
Anytime she needs someone to talk to, she can call me. And sometimes that's the hardest thing that people have a hard time doing is just being there. You know, with me always traveling, I never said to people, I'm too busy. They would assume I'm too busy, and I was busy, but I always try to find time. You always got to try to find time, not only for yourself, but for other people, especially when it's your parents. So that's one thing I was always there, is being there for my mom, even right now, being there for her. And I think that that's one of the things that you can always give to people that they'll appreciate is your time.
100%, man. I agree with that. But yeah, man, I see the Harlem Globetrotter jerseys that you got behind you right there. Let's speak about that a little bit, man. How did you become part of the legendary Harlem Globetrotters, man? How did that happen?
They recruited me. Actually, they drafted me in 2008. So as soon as I graduated from Siena, they drafted me. I tried out for the team, but I didn't even make it. A lot of people don't even know that. They drafted me, but I didn't even make it. They said that they didn't have any room for me. So while I was waiting for them and I never had a call, that's when I decided to start my master's, because I figured, hey, maybe this isn't going to work for me. And I needed something to do. So that's when I started my master's. They called me back the next year and gave me another opportunity, and I blew it out the waters. You know, I was prepared. I knew what to do, and I made sure that I was one of the selected players that they wanted. So then that's the reason why it took me so long to get my master's, because I started it, but then I stopped it and then continued it while I was on the road. I've been to 70 countries, you know, entertaining people all around the world, man. It's been amazing. A lot of those countries I've been to numerous times. And it meant a lot for me because for someone like me, I've never left New York. So now I'm traveling. And I tell kids all the time, you don't have to be a Harlem Globetrotter to travel. Try to figure out a place you want to go, because you'll be surprised that we are blessed with a lot of things that a lot of countries aren't blessed with, or vice versa. But you learn about life, and it's been an amazing experience. I met so many people. I loved it. I still keep in touch with my teammates. And one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to play one more year so my son can see me play. You know, always wanted to say, man, I would love to take a picture of my Globetrotter uniform with my son so he can say my dad was a Globetrotter. But you know what? It just didn't work that way. You know, I needed to be there for my wife. And no matter what, he'll always be able to Google my name and see that I was pretty cool. And I hope that I get the cool points for not only being his father, but also being a Globetrotter as well.
Oh man, I'm sure as he gets older, he's gonna be like, wow, like you did all these different things. Like, wow, he's gonna see the jerseys. Like, I'm sure you're gonna have a whole bunch of stories to tell him as well too.
He might bring me for show and tell one day.
I see you thinking about it already.
I'm ready. Spinning the ball on all his classmates' finger. Come here, you're next. You're next.
But it's funny. So when you're with the Globetrotters, your nickname was Firefly. Where did Firefly come from? I would have thought it would have just been Fish. Where did Firefly come from?
Well, every player has a nickname that kind of goes with how they play. So for example, we have Bull, because he's built like a bull. We have TNT, who's a female, and they say she's the bomb. You know, we have we have someone like Airport or Flight Time, because they can jump really high. You know, and they said we're gonna call you Firefly, and I was like, Firefly? They was like, yeah, because you light it up as soon as you get on the court. You light it up with your dribbling, you light it up with your smile, you light it up with your shooting. We're gonna call you Firefly. At first, it took a while for me to really grasp it, but then once the game started, Firefly, kids loved it. You know, I love it, and I think that I'm hoping that I'm able to change people's lives with my name, so when they come to a Harlem Globetrotter game, they can remember me. And that's one thing about the Harlem Globetrotters. They say it can be somebody's first time watching you play. It can be somebody's last time watching you play. Go out there and give them something to remember. And that's something that I always look forward to.
Hey man, when I was doing some research before we had this interview, I saw that you had, like you said, you went all over the world, but you had fans all over the world. Like people were waiting for you to get there. Like, oh man, it's Firefly. So like, I'm sure that was an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it is an amazing feeling, because you're making an impact, man. Like, especially when I've been all around, but my favorite was going to entertain the troops. I loved it. Every Thanksgiving time, because that's the time to be around your family. We would always leave and go to either the Middle East go to Europe or we'll go to Asia. We always switched it up every year to go entertain the troops. Mm-hmm. It was the best feeling, man, because they're out there sacrificing their lives, representing the red, white, and blue, another, bond that we have with each other, and to be able to do what we do. And when you think, man, they're not going to like it, they're out there like little kids. Oh my God, this is crazy. And I think that's a great feeling to know that you're touching not only little kids' lives, but adults and older women and older men. It doesn't matter. The generation doesn't change. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, man, that's, like I said, I can tell you have amazing stories about your time. And you just recently retired, just last year, right?
Yeah, last October. Yeah, okay. That was such a tough decision for me, man, because I had so much left in me. But, one thing I wanted to do is walk out on my own. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to get hurt.
Right.
Say I couldn't do it no more, which I've had injuries that I bounced back from. I didn't want to get fired where I'm like, hey, because no matter what, when people say I'm going to do it to the wheels, I don't want to do it to the wheels fall off. When people say I'm going to do it until I'm fired, I don't want to be fired because even if did it for 20 years, getting fired is never a good feeling.
Right.
So I wanted to just walk out on my own, and I wanted to do it with a smile on my face and say I gave it my all. And then at the same time, go ahead and flip that next chapter and be able to know that I can always go back to it and just know it's not the end of my story. And I think I did a great job with it.
Yeah, man. And speaking about the fact that you're on to the next chapter and some of the things that you're doing right now, you just lightly touched on. You've had a basketball camp for 15 years. You've been running this, and you got to be in your 30s. So you've been running this basketball camp since, you were probably like 20 years old.
Yeah.
Right? So you've been giving back to the community since you were a young man. Speak about some of the things that you're going to be doing, with this basketball camp and some of those other things. I saw you have like a free Christmas clinic that you do as well.
Yeah, I got a free Christmas clinic that I do for young kids where I kind of have a Santa come and kind of surprise them. And it's great. And it gives people, I do a lot of free stuff sometimes because it gives people who do not have, the income to be able to still come. And even if you don't have it, if they contact me, I'll make it work. I never want money to ever be a problem because that was always one of my problems. And my coach or somebody always said, don't worry, we'll take care of it. And I would have never had these type of opportunities right now if I never had those type of experiences. So I got to look out for my community. I have to, because there's a lot of players that leave and never come back. And then there's a lot of players that leave and then you forget about them. So for me to be able to leave in 2004 as a Kingston grad and then go on to Siena and graduate in 2008, and for it to be 2020 and people are still talking about me, I think that's really cool that they never forgot. And I want to keep it like that because I think it's cool. Right now, my summer camp might not happen. So I'm doing virtual trainings right now with the kids, which I think is important because it's really easy to just sit back and not do anything and get lazy and lose all your skills. No, we still see each other every weekend. Not only are you happy to see me, but maybe you see some of your friends in that same Zoom chat that we're doing that you haven't seen in a while because you can't go to school. So I'm still keeping that connection. I have a breast cancer event that I do where I let all my campers play in front of their friends and family as we raise money for breast cancer. And all of that money goes to a local breast cancer foundation to help our community. I got a father-son day or a father-daughter day where the fathers are able to do things with their kids, and everybody knows that it's always great to be able to do things with your father, and sometimes when kids are signing up for my camp is always their moms. So I'm always their moms. I never really see their fathers because they're always busy. Mm-hmm. So whenever I can see their fathers and they're seeing their things with it, I think it's amazing. And now that's something that maybe when my son gets a little older, now I can spend that time with him as well. So so much I have him that I want to keep doing, man, and I'm hoping will grow. And I'm hoping that my son is able to experience it.
Man, like I said, you definitely are an advocate, man. You got this breast cancer event that you said you got going on for the community. You're an advocate for children. I've seen you had really strong connection with a lot of kids who had disabilities, and you remained in their lives, even after you had first met them. You had a really strong connection with them. But one of the things that I also saw that you were recently doing is an anti-bullying campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, speak a little bit about that. Like, how did that come about?
Well, with the Globetrotters, not only people only see what we do on the court. They don't know that we're ambassadors of goodwill even off the court. So we will go to hospitals to visit kids. We'll go to schools to talk to them about a character, building character, or anti-bullying program, or something along that nature that can help you be a better person. And that's kind of what motivated me. You know, when I not graduated, when I left the Harlem Globetrotters, I said, you know what? I'm gonna create my own program. I'm gonna kind of use the model of what I've done with the Harlem Globetrotters, but I'm gonna make it my own. So the T stands for talk, the A stands for ask questions, and the Y stands for you, which is who it's all about. It's about you at the end of the day and making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So all I did was just take my name and make it into something special. Each letter is an acronym, and I go to those schools. I do tricks. I talk to them about my anti-bullying program, about how to be great in life, and we take pictures, and I give them something to remember. You know, I call up people to do things with me, whether it's a 5-year-old reciting her ABCs in front of 600 kids and everybody clapping. All of those little things, people, if any of those kids are nervous, I bring them up, and all of a sudden they feel more comfortable. You know, whether I got to get on my knee to come down at their level because I'm up here and just going like this as a little kid is intimidating, I come down if I need to. It's just like those little things that you might not think makes a difference. I've learned while being in school, I've learned while teaching, and I learned while being a Harlem Globetrotter that all I'm trying to do is kind of put them together and form the best version of myself. And I think that I'm doing a great job with it, but I can always get better.
Man, I can tell you're doing a great job with it. I hear it in your passion for what you do, not only with, you know, the things that you did with the Globetrotters, but right now how you're impacting, you know, kids' lives and families' lives and changing things for the better. But one thing that I saw that you are really passionate about is you have your own hashtag, which is "We will change the world." And
Yes.
clearly you have a plan to do so, or maybe just taking it day by day, but you are definitely on the path to do so. Well, you know, what is some change that you hope to make?
Yeah, that hashtag is something that I've been doing for a while. And it's funny because I actually have a "We Will Change the World" shirt that I was supposed to release on my birthday, which was in March. But when I was going to release it, that's when COVID-19 hit. And I decided not to release it because it was a time where people were losing jobs. It was a time where people were very vulnerable. I didn't want to put anything out there during that time because I wanted to think about other people. That's the reason why when I first started my trainings, I did them all for free for the whole month because I wanted people to adjust, you know. So now that we're getting a little better, and the hashtag "We Will Change the World," it goes with, I did it because I felt like I needed to bring people in with wanting to change the world with me, such as teachers. You guys change the world. Let's do it together. Doctors, you change the world. Let's do it together. And then kind of have other people kind of with that same model with me. Now with COVID-19, it really impacts everyone because we really do need to change the world together. So I'm going to release them soon, but I'm always trying to change, man. Like one by one, I'm trying to change the world, but it has to change with me first. You know, so people are so scared of change, and I can see why. It's really difficult to change yourself, your relationship, whatever it is, but you have to do it. And I feel like if I'm the leader in changing it, maybe some people will come along with me, and then we can do it together. And every time you wear that shirt, it'll remind you of wanting to do good. I learned that with my camp shirts. It says Tay Fisher's basketball camp, but kids were wearing them in their school pictures, or just because they see it as Tay Fisher's always with me. I feel good. I feel like I'm Tay Fisher. I feel like, so some people it's just a shirt. Like for you, like you're wearing your shirt right now. I think that that's an awesome shirt, and it has a message to it that I think that people need to know about. And everyone has their favorite shirt that they wear, whether it's going to sleep or during good times or whether during bad times. And I want to be that guy that people think about whenever they want to do that.
I mean, I hear that, and it seems like you're making a progression into more public speaking, into speaking at schools and other things as well. Do you see a future for yourself in motivational speaking?
Yes, I do. I do. Something that I didn't think of, but me being able to talk to you right now is something that I never really did. So people would always see me and be like, man, Tay, like you have a good story. Why don't you tell it? And I'm like, I don't know. I never really think of telling it because I'm just moving forward. But then I thought to myself, telling my story, where I came from, how I got to where I am, the adversity, the things that I've been through, maybe it is what people need to hear. Because when people see Globetrotter or any successful athlete, they think that it was handed to them, or they don't think that they've been through some hard things. I'm like, no, let me go ahead and talk to people about this because I want them to know it's not all about basketball. I'm not here to talk to you about basketball. You may never played basketball in your life, but maybe your mom lost her legs, or maybe your mom is going through some difficult times. Maybe you don't have your father in your life. Maybe you are struggling in school. Maybe you want to go to college. Maybe people are doubting you. There has to be something that I can relate with you on that can make you feel like we have a connection. And that has nothing to do with basketball. So I'm still tapping into that. I've been doing an awesome job with it. So I got that program, young kids, and then I have my life, my story for adults. And I feel like if I can continue to keep aiming in those directions, it'd be awesome, man. And I'm just here to try to change the world.
And I hear you. You got a lot going on, man. You got all that amongst being a new dad, amongst being, I mean, your wife only been married for 2 years, still semi-new husband. Man, it's a lot to accomplish. One thing that I did see as well, I wanted to touch on briefly, is you have a youth basketball league. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. I have a youth basketball league because all my camps started at age 8 and up. But now I started to have a league for 5, 6, 7-year-olds. Okay. Because now kids are starting younger. But you know what? This league right here, it's only for 6. I do it for 4 weeks. It's not really long. But it's so good because the way I designed it was parents come, just watch your son, watch your daughter, enjoy the game. Yeah. 5-year-olds, they can barely catch the ball.
Right.
But what we're teaching them, hey, have your hands ready. Don't be scared of it when it comes to you. When it comes to you, put your hands together and just try to grab it. Simple things like that goes a long way. Even if they never make a basket, they learn how to catch the ball. In their dribbling, we'll bring the rims down. Nobody comes there. There's no booing. There's no all positivity. Even if it's not your son or daughter that scores, we're all clapping. So then they can feel how it feels to be loved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's all about. And I'm all about the Globetrotters of being positive. Let's go out there because they get out there and they're nervous. They're scared. They're crying. After week 1, week 2, they're high-fiving kids and they can't wait for it.
That's awesome.
I want to keep that going, man. Like, there's a reason why I do everything. There's a reason why. Sometimes I think of things and it never plans out being the way I think of it. But it's always the imagination and things that's going, that's where it starts. And Harlem Globetrotter, being a teacher, you have to be creative. It taught me that, and you can't teach creativity. And I think that I'm doing a great job with that.
Man, you definitely do a great job with that. You're trying to make the change that you're making the change that you want to see.
Yeah,
that's huge. That's important. But like you said, you got hashtag we will change the world. But let me ask you, how has your son changed you?
Oh man, he changed me. You know what? I've always been patient, but he taught me to be more patient. You know what I mean? With everything. He taught me to love more. Like I love him. He's my man. He also brought me and my wife closer together.
Okay.
We've always been close. She always held me down while I was gone. But man, like we'll go to bed and we'll just talk about him and his progress. It gives us, now we're not together now, and he sees us working out. It gives us another thing because when I left the Globetrotters, I also need to create that bond with my wife as well because I was always gone 8 months out of the year. So he also brought the connection with my mom closer. Because now she's so happy to be a grandma. He changed everyone's life. And you know what? When he was born, my dad pulled me to the side and said, "Thank you for bringing my dad back." And I said, what? He said, the day Duran was born was the day I buried my father. That's the reason why I didn't go to my high school graduation. Never knew that. So it's just so powerful. He's such a strong kid, and he's very happy. He's a happy baby. Whether he's teething and going through the crazy things that baby goes through, he's always smiling. That's all I can ask for. And he brings so much joy to everybody. That's the reason why when I post him, people always comment, because they see the joy in his face, and he knows he's loved.
Oh, 100%. He has a very positive environment with you and your wife, and like you said, your parents as well. It sounds like he has a lot of positivity to be around. So he's just soaking it all in.
Soaking it all in, man. That's what it's all about. It starts with us. It starts with us. And as being a black man, so much is happening, man, but I want to be that guy, for him. Black, white, it doesn't matter. But being a black man, I'm very proud that I'm able to overcome all of those things that I've been through. And my wife, she's Dominican and Puerto Rican. So like he has a lot in him right now that we are trying to work together. So I'm trying to learn Spanish. Mm-hmm. And I've always been working on that, traveling to different countries. When we go to Spain or go to Dominican Republic, we also speak Spanish in those countries or any other country. So even if we can't speak it fluently, us just trying, the crowd is like this.
Yeah.
Because
they appreciate it.
It's all about appreciating it. You go to those other countries, you want to show that you respect their culture. Right. And for me to be where I am right now, for my wife to be, living in a different culture and living by different means, I feel like it's important for us to come together. And how can we make our son the best version of both of us together? Yeah. And I think we're doing a great job with it, and it takes time. But I encourage all first-time parents and families to do the same thing.
Okay. Now, what's your favorite memory with Durand?
Oh man, I don't know yet. There's so many of them. He loves when he's up on my shoulders. Smacking my head. He loves music. I went to, when Yaz and I were together, we went to a Broadway show, which is my first time I ever been to a Broadway show, and it was called A Bronx Tale. So they have a Bronx Tale musical, which is a soundtrack on Apple Music, and she would always play that when she was pregnant, and I always played it because I loved it. So now when we play it for him, he smiles, and I have a video of that as well. So he loves music. We're creating already some memories right now that I know is going to be awesome. And when his birthday comes up, it might be virtual. And if it is virtual, we already got the theme that we're going to do, which is going to be a Space Jam theme, because he loves Space Jam.
For real.
He will sit there for the whole hour and 30 minutes and watch it and smile when Bugs Bunny comes up and smile when he sees Michael Jordan and smile when it's just so fascinating to see how intrigued he is for Space Jam. Mm-hmm. So we already know how it's going to be, and it's based on that memory that we've already created with him on how his first birthday is going to be.
He already has an appreciation for the game, for basketball already.
Yeah, he does, man. And people always tell me, is he going to play back? You know what? I didn't know I was going to play basketball. I just loved it because my dad loved it, and I wanted to be around my dad. Now, if he wants to play soccer, baseball, whatever it is, well, he can't play football. My wife won't allow him to play football. Whatever sport he wants to play, even if it's not basketball, I'm going to still be there. And if I have to learn it, I'll learn it. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be like this, and I'm never going to push it. I just want him to love it. And that's one thing I think parents always do is force. And you'll force it out of your kid's love, and they don't love it no more.
Right.
And I want him to love anything that he does, man. And I think that's important.
You just dropped a pretty good gem right there. The fact that if you try to force your kids into something, they're not going to enjoy it.
I see it all the time. I do. Man.
Oh, I'm sure you do. You run camps for kids, and you've been doing this for dang near 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, man. I'm sure for sure. But what is some advice that you do have for new fathers?
Just enjoy it. It's hard. Nobody said it's going to be easy. As a first-time parent, for me, it was hard because I'm gonna be honest with you. One of the hardest things was hearing him cry for hours. You know, something that you don't hear all the time. So you're just like, what's wrong? What's going on? But you know what? Just be there for your son. I've had people say, don't hold him so much. No, I'm gonna hold him whenever I can. You know, because my son, because there's gonna be times he doesn't want to be held. He's already doing that now that he can walk and he can crawl. He doesn't want to be held. Hold your son, enjoy him, or your daughter. Embrace your child because they want that love. And at the same time, learn to be a great father every single day. Learn to, when my son had eczema and he was crying and screaming and scratching all the time, I slept in the crib with him because that was the only time he felt comfortable. It was, and trust me, people said, man, that had to be uncomfortable. I've slept on a bus next to a 6'7" dude that was big. Trust me, I've been in uncomfortable situations before. All right. But you know what? Whatever needed to be done to make him feel comfortable, I did. And that's what a father is supposed to be. He's supposed to be there and protect his son, whether he's in good times and bad times. And it's not only when he's a young kid, it's also when he becomes a teenager, and it's also when he becomes an adult, is you're supposed to be there. And I'm hoping that I can continue this.
Oh, man, that's definitely some really good advice right there. I appreciate you dropping that. Our listeners definitely gonna appreciate that. But
No problem.
man, before we get on out of here, let the people know how they can get in contact with you or, see what you have going on.
Oh man. Well, on Instagram, you can follow me on at Tay. It's Tay Fisher, but you can follow my tag, which is T Fisher 03. So it's T Fisher FISHER 03. That's my Instagram. That's pretty much the only thing I use other than Facebook, which is Tay Fisher's basketball camp. I have over 7,000 followers on there, all in the community, which I think is great because I'm able to not only share what's coming up in the community with my events, but I'm able to share my personal experience in my life with them, which a lot of people want to hear because they're always like, man, like Tay's struggling with this too, but he still was able to maintain it. I love to always open people up to my life.
Yeah.
That's just the way I am. I don't give them too much where I'm always posting about my son, but I give them just enough to know my son is great. He's smiling. He's happy. I'm good. You should be good. And I always give them outlets to try to follow me and ask me any questions. And if they don't ask me any questions, just follow me because maybe you'll wake up and you may need that smile on your face based on something that I post. Trust me, I follow you guys and a lot of other people just for that comfort, just to know I'm good.
Yeah, it's good to have some positivity out there.
Yeah, man, it's good too, and I only follow positive people because what you hear, what you see is how you're going to be in life. And I want to make sure I create all of them positive vibes that's going on. We will change the world. And only one person might follow, but all it takes is one crazy person to start it, one person to follow. And then next thing you know, you got a community of people all following the trend. And I'm hoping I can do that, man,